Hello, beautiful human. Welcome to the next episode of the Untethered Podcast. I'm your host, Abby Rose, the spiritual accountant. And today we're going to be diving deep into how ignoring your soul purpose creates chaos. Everyone wants to know what their soul purpose is. Like, what is their purpose here on earth? And we're all here for the same thing, I believe. We're all here to love. We're all here to express love, to give and receive love, and we all do it in very unique ways. But then there are a select few who were put here specifically at this time for a very good reason. And no one soul is greater than another. No one purpose is better than another. As unique as you are is as unique as your soul's purpose, and it's all important. Everyone has a seat at the table. Everyone has, like, there is no competition, there is no comparison. It's like the collective rises when those who feel that calling for more just play their role. So when I dive in to soul purpose with people, they're like, just tell me what it is, Abby. Like, just tell me what my soul purpose is. And it's like, well, I kind of can't. It's something that I can extract, we can uncover it, but your soul purpose and what you're here to do is not just a singular, like, oh, it's this, or oh, it's this. It's not like, oh, my sole purpose is to be a psychic and do energy readings. It's actually so much bigger than that. And when you're uncovering your soul purpose, that's when the chaos comes in. Because in order to reach that, I know what I'm here for and I know who I am, and that unwavering, like, flag in the ground, you can't actually define the sole purpose as one specific thing. And I think that's where it comes back to everyone's sole purpose being the same. And it's love. And it's the expression of that love and how each person holds love, how each person feels love, how each person gives and receives love. And, to love is, I believe even love is the purpose, because love is the gateway to peace and enlightenment. You can't be in peace or enlightenment without love. And I guess I could correlate that back to my accounting days. I can see how it wasn't the right vehicle, but it was absolutely my purpose, because without it, I would not be who I am today. All of the knowledge and the experience and the skills that I acquired over that time was part of it. And I could 100%, 1,000% not show up in my sole purpose today as what if it wasn't for that. So I think it's the recognition of, like, what are you doing now, and how does it correlate to your soul purpose, and is it helping you step more into that, or is it actually detracting you away from that? Is it keeping you distracted? Is it keeping your attention focused in an area that is not part of your soul purpose? But I think people really do get stuck on, what is my soul purpose? Like, just tell me what it is. Like if you look at different psychics and energy heal, how you got different types of readers, right? So when I first stepped into my psychic abilities, I was doing a lot of readings. I used to go live on Facebook for 3 hours every Friday and just, like, do live readings. And that was me honing my abilities, right? I was like training myself. But when I noticed a pattern, right? Even when that was my vehicle, I noticed the pattern of what was happening in the readings. Because what is happening with people when you're in service gives you insight into what your soul purpose is. And during those readings, it was very heavily focused on career. It was always career, work, tell me what, mixed in with relationship, because I think pretty much everyone on the face of the planet wants to know the future of their relationships. And that's where we find the most chaos, or we can find chaos. But I guess I really steered towards people that were drawn to me wanted to know more about their career and their profession and what to do and their sole purpose. So when I'm working with people in their business, and it doesn't matter what product or what service you're providing, like when you can find the commonalities in what you're providing and the people around you and the conversations you're having, when you're listening intuitively and to the nuances of your services, this is where you can really hone it and hone your soul purpose. So, this is what I say, even to like coaches or readers or whoever that I work with, is like, what are the conversations you're having? Because that's life, that's universe telling you. So be in response to that. Um, be in response to that. So there's no point me saying, oh, I can do readings on, pregnancies, when realistically, whenever I'm talking to people about their energy and the intuition side of things, I'm tuning into their legacies. I'm tuning into people's visions. I can see. It's funny when I'm sitting with people and, I do a lot of legacy work. And when I'm sitting with these legacies, all my clairs are activated. I literally see the vision of the future. Now, through my spiritual training and through my shamanic training, where I learned all of these abilities and how to utilize them, Spirit taught me one very powerful thing, and it's around imagination. Because a lot of people, they think, oh, I don't have psychic abilities. I can't see, I can't, sense, I can't whatever, I can't hear, or I can't, and usually it will start with one clair. It will start with the feeling or the knowing. But Spirit taught me that the power of imagination is the gateway to being able to see what you want to see. And I had this one specific experience where we did a group healing, and it was the most beautiful healing. The woman was stepping into her divine feminine. That was essentially the message. The healing was to help her step more into her divine feminine. But when afterwards, because I love observing, afterwards I went around and I asked a number of people in the group, I was like, what did you see? And every single person told me a different visual. So one person saw like a serpent woman shedding her snake skin. Another person saw an ice queen melting. There was all these different representations. And then that's when I was like, oh, wow, it doesn't matter what you see. It's the message behind what you see that is important. So the more you can hone your vision is when you can then see what you see, but then read the underlying message. So when I look at these legacies, it's like I literally see the future and I see the vision. Now, connecting to any timeline and seeing that is possible. Anyone can do it. It's just access. But what I'm reading is I'm actually looking at what is the impact for humanity. So what is that love element? What is that expression of love that is being given or received to create that impact so that that future exists? And then from that place, that's how we can articulate what the actual mission or what that vision for that purpose is right here and right
Right.
now. So when we then see that vision, right? So it starts with the nuance of feeling like you were born for more, and not in a very egocentric way, but it's just that little nudge inside of you that is like, surely there's something more than this. Like, surely I feel like I'm destined for more. But then when you start connecting to the energy of your soul purpose, which is that expression of that love, and then how you do that through business, we start seeing things and we start being drawn to things. We start going, oh, I need to go and do this, or I need to have that, or I need to let go of that. And in that, when we start taking then steps towards that vision, cue chaos. I do not know. I do not know a single living soul on the face of this planet that has stepped into their legacy or mission and hasn't been confronted with a truckload of chaos. It is inevitable. Nobody is immune. And you have to understand the chaos is not there to stop you. It is there to maybe distract you. It is there maybe to distort you, but it's not there to stop you. It's there to activate you. It's there to initiate you. It's there to call you forward. And it doesn't mean that your soul purpose and your legacy then isn't it. When that chaos comes, this is where you got to anchor deeper to that legacy. Because I'll be the first person to admit I've had a lot of chaos in relation to my soul purpose and my legacy. I have had probably the experiences that I have experienced. I do not regret a single thing. I have so much compassion and I see why and I understand it, but I absolutely would not wish those things upon my worst enemy. I would not wish another person to traverse the things that I have traversed. Um, However, I have. And if anything, I have learnt from those experiences is that when you're in the midst of all of that chaos, all of that destruction, all of that despair or the fear or the um, fear is what it is, this is where your soul is asking you to anchor deeper. And I 100% assure you, without a shadow of a doubt, when you anchor deeper to that legacy and that purpose and that mission in your heart, and you prove through your actions and your behavior that you are devoted to that, you will be rewarded. You will be rewarded for that. You will reap the benefits of the seeds that you sow when you devote to your legacy. The problem is a lot of people, they have these expectations around their behaviors. And this is where you can look at, well, manifestation abundance, right? So if I'm going to do this, then I expect the universe will deliver this, right? If I do X, universe is going to give me Y. And this is, an identity that has to be let go of. Because when you put orders in with the universe with expectations, don't expect it to be delivered in the way that you're anticipating. When you put an order in with the universe, manifestation, the universe will deliver you more chaos. So we have to release those expectations. So this is where we step more into, well, divine service, mission-led service from a place of humility. And the humility is zero expectations. Zero. When you're going down the path of having expectations on the universe, and the chaos comes, what that's going to do is create more fear, right? But your relationship with fear is actually guiding you towards your deeper truth. So we're talking about soul purpose, having your expectations on the universe. So it's releasing those expectations. But what happens when we release those expectations is fear arises, right? So fear can also usually be cloaked with it's the scarcity mentality, right? It's lack mentality and it's the fear. And it's like, well, if I don't get what I want, universe is not providing for me. Right. But when we're in those fear cycles and fear loops, we're only ever going to be behaving in accordance with that. And then that just creates more of. So what you want to do is use the fear to find the truth. Because underneath that fear, there is a powerful truth that you're ignoring. And truth, I feel like, can be misunderstood. I'm a little bit of a binge trash TV watcher, especially over the Christmas break. Oh my God, I just love reality TV. I just love observing people. And what better place to observe is through trash TV, reality TV, right? And one thing I notice when and everyone's just like, my truth, my truth, my truth, my truth, my truth. And I'm like, cool. Everyone does have their truth, but your truth can be very distorted, right? Your truth, what you see, the truth is what you're perceiving in a scenario. But just because you perceive it to be that way doesn't make it true, right? So it's like, there's six sides to every story, right? So there's my truth, your truth, and then there's the ultimate truth. Which one is real? So when we go into a space of fear, we are then activating safety mechanisms, right? So when we then activate those safety mechanisms to protect ourselves, because whatever we're afraid of, we don't want that to happen or we don't want that to be a thing, right? The fear is the gateway to finding your deeper truth. So you actually have to face the fear. You actually have to go into the fear and, what am I afraid of? I'm afraid of being perceived a certain way. I'm afraid of being seen as XYZ. I'm afraid of losing XYZ. I'm afraid of not providing for my children. I'm afraid of not, all of those things, that you're afraid of. And it's kind of like, the analogy a lot of coaches and mentors would use. It's the fear of jumping out of the plane. Now, I personally have never jumped out of a plane, so I don't know what that fear is like. But you don't actually overcome the fear until you have jumped out of the plane. So when we step into our soul purpose, sometimes it can bring up this fear, and it's fear of like imposter syndrome, it's fear of not being successful, it's fear of not being seen. And the only way to really combat that is finding the truth of your soul purpose in that fear. And I can only really correlate it to myself because I've faced off with so many different levels of fear. And every single time I have literally been um, face to face with the darkest of demons within myself, right? Internally and externally. There's been an ultimate truth that I've remembered in those moments. And it's not like my perception of something, because my perception can change and my truth can change at any given moment. But it's like spirit just reminds me of an ultimate truth, something that is not changeable, that is not based of a perspective. It's just this is true. And for me, it is like the truth is we shouldn't have to pay to live. We shouldn't have to pay to live on Earth. Who created that? It's so fucking ridiculous. Right? And that's an ultimate truth. You look at some of the ancient tribes, do they pay? No. So, when my soul purpose landed, it was an advanced civilization does not require currency. Now, a lot of people have called me a lot of things over the years, and crazy is one of them. And I don't blame them because here's little old Abby Rose going around, advanced civilization doesn't require currency. It's ridiculous because so many people are like, how is that even possible? How is that even? We are so far removed from that kind of reality that it just it just doesn't seem practical.
Mm.
But my legacy is so anchored in that every time I'm reminded of that truth, it's like I just act according to it. When I'm connected to that truth, it completely obliterates any kind of fear that resides. So, so then when I need to make a decision or when I need to make an action or when I need to do something, I'm not doing it from a space of fear of, oh, I want to avoid this. I'm doing it from a space of knowing an ultimate truth. And then for me, whatever happens after that is just destiny. Like it's already mapped out. It's already planned. I I actually don't have any control over that. I can just control what I do in the meantime. So what I do in the meantime is try and get the most enjoyment out of my life, the most fulfillment, the most impact, the most, expression of love and sharing. Just
Yeah.
sharing my light, sharing my message, sharing my magic. And anything else that comes in the way is either a distortion, a distraction, or an activation into more truth. So, yeah, an
So,
advanced civilization that doesn't require currency is so fucking far-fetched. I just picture like Avatar. Um, but if I don't vision that future, no one will. Like, who else is visioning a future like that? So imagine what happens when we all envisage a future like that, and we start behaving towards a future like that. Imagine what would happen. And it just comes back to the Ubuntu. And the Ubuntu culture is, everyone in the community is provided for. Everyone in the community has their place, has their role. Everyone has a seat at the table. And when we work for community and we provide for community, everyone is provided for. I just want to be that permission piece for other people who, whether you just have that little nudge of, I have no fucking clue what I'm doing, but I know I'm here for more. I, I don't know what that is. Or you know, I've been doing things a while, but I'm not getting anywhere. And I feel like it's time to up level. All the people of like, yeah, I'm on legacy, I'm on mission, I know who the fuck I am and what I'm here to do, let's go. You know, I'm just here to support the people that envisage a same sort of future as what I do. And that's why I hold my immersions because these visions and these legacies and these soul purpose, they need to be landed. And not just landed so you can articulate it in some fancy marketing sentence that's created by ChatGPT. It's like when you can land this legacy viscerally, like in your body, and you can attune to the energy of it and the nuance of it, it's going to help you make decisions. It's going to help you navigate through business or through life, through relationships, through the chaos. I have seen lives change, and it's not from doing more, it's from doing less. Would you believe it? And that's why I love these 2-day innovators immersions because it's a chance to get you out of your little world, out of your little bubble, and come in like a beautiful beam of distraction to connect you to your legacy and go, hey, you felt that calling. Let's give it the space to land. And then all the skills and experience that I've learned over the years through business and through accounting, I can give you models and processes to help you action that. So it can be as effortless as the chaotic business journey can be. Being in your legacy or being in your purpose or walking the walk, being a mission soul doesn't mean there's no chaos. If anything, it means there's more. So you just need to learn how to navigate it and use it as a tool to guide you to truth. If this episode spoke to you today and you want to learn more about the Innovators Immersion, you can check out the link in the show notes. Otherwise, join me over in the Untethered Facebook group for more.